Disney finally deleting the sequel trilogy? New reports show that there's something going on. We're going to talk about it all today. I don't think they're actually going to delete the sequel trilogy. However, there are some really interesting things that Disney has chosen to do in highlighting the prequel and original trilogy while forgetting the sequel trilogy. And that's huge. So we're going to talk about that here on the channel today. Welcome to the channel. My name is Jeremy. This is The Force Fandom, and this is a channel for regular fans who love Star Wars. If that's you, consider subscribing. Today, we're going to be looking at the new Disney Star Wars Skywalker Saga projection that has been shown at Disneyland, and there's a huge glaring omission in this project, in this presentation, one that is going to make me kind of go down the rabbit trail of the what ifs. What is going on with Star Wars and Disney? If you don't know, I'll throw the link down in the description below. You can go spend 11 minutes and watch this for yourself. It kind of is just an immersive music narrated version of a recap of the Skywalker saga. Well, not quite, because it just focuses on the prequels and the originals. There are no sequels mentioned, and so it's just focusing on what many have kind of come to believe is canon, because we don't want to deal with the sequel trilogy at all. So there's no Rey Skywalker, Palpatine, any of that. There's nothing. It just ends where Return of the Jedi ends. And it got me thinking, what could this actually mean? Now, some of you might be saying, this isn't that big of a deal. This is just a prequel original trilogy thing, but that's not the case. When you think back to the way that Disney has put all of their eggs in the sequel trilogy basket, everything is hanging on Rey. We've even had quotes where they're saying Rey is the only cinematic asset they have. And if you think back to when Galaxy's Edge came out, the new hotel, all of the things that have been happening over the last few years, what has it been focused on? It has not been focused on the prequels or the originals. It has not been Luke and Leia and Han and Chewie. It has not been Anakin and Darth Vader. It's been Kylo Ren. It's been Rey Skywalker. Well, it just hurts to say. It's been all of the Resistance and BB-8 and everything in the sequels. That's what it was. And so when it was announced not that long ago that Luke Skywalker was coming to Galaxy's Edge, it got me wondering what they were trying to do. What I think what they're trying to do is they're realizing people do not want the new stuff. They've maxed out their capital. They're no longer pulling in people with the new Star Wars. Now, don't get me wrong. There's tons of people, maybe even some of you, who are fans of this, probably already taken to the comments, upset that I'm even talking about this, who enjoy the sequel trilogy, who are in love with some of these characters, who are excited for the Shemaine Obaid-Chinoy thing that's coming out, the possible Rey trilogy, and the way that we're exploring the possible new Jedi Order with Rey, not Luke. Now, there's people that I think are enjoying that and are looking forward to that, but not a majority. Not enough to make the parks and the toys and all of the things that are Star Wars continue to go. And so is this change, this omission of the sequel trilogy, a sign of things to come? I'm going to take the positive angle here and say, I actually think it is. Now, you're going to say, wait, you're crazy. They're doing a Rey movie. I don't know. Are they? You're going to say, wait, you're crazy. Kathleen Kennedy is Rey's pet project. It's herself put on the big screen. You're right. How long is Kathleen Kennedy really going to still be calling the shots? I think there's a lot of things that could be changing. And while I think for some of us Star Wars fans, we sometimes are grasping at straws, hoping upon hope that things are going to change. But this is pretty significant to roll out a Skywalker saga projection and not close out the last 3 minutes with how everything from Anakin to Luke led to Rey. It's kind of crazy that they chose not to have anything about Rey in this. mainly because this is not what they would previously have done. So things are starting to change. The winds are starting to move, and I think this is a good direction. Now, honestly, probably it's too little too late, and until they do a full retcon of the sequel trilogy, most Star Wars fans have checked out. Most Star Wars fans are not going to go even see this. They're not going to even go there to engage in this, and that's why they put it online for you to watch, because they know you're not going to pay to watch it. And even then, that seems like a curious decision. Now, I don't want to necessarily overreact and get my hopes up and everything else that's going on, but I think that for the first time in a long time, Disney and Lucasfilm have made the right decision. I don't think forcing Rey into every single corner of the galaxy is the right decision. Even if you liked the sequel trilogy, even if you loved the character of Rey, you have to at least agree putting everything and focusing everything on her isn't Star Wars. Yes, you're going to say it's the future and people, it's how you get new fans and it's the new version of, but that's not Star Wars. You have to still, in some way, pay homage to the tradition of the past as you continue to move forward. It's not just about deleting the old and making way for the new, because if you do that, then the new has no foundation of which to lie on top of. It has no history. And if we see anything today, more than ever before, and I see this all the time, firsthand, people want to be connected to something that is longer lasting than themselves. They want to be connected to tradition and history and all of it. And I'm not just talking in people's like religious pursuits, though I see that being a big part of it. I think people want to be connected to something that shows it can last. That's part of the reason people have enjoyed Star Wars, because you can turn and look back and see all of everything throughout the decades and be a part of that thing. But when Disney and Lucasfilm botched the sequel trilogy, they cut off and alienated many of their fans with the ways that they portrayed these characters, the major flaws that they did of showing Luke Skywalker like they did, of not bringing back together Luke, Han, and Leia, as if for some reason to say like, no, we can't do that. That would be too much fan service. No, it's not fan service to honor what has been. I'm not saying you don't do it within the actual confines of a well-told story, but you can do both. You can do both. And I think this decision is actually the right one. Even if it means I don't think they're actually going to delete the sequel trilogy. I think making space for the celebration of the prequels and the original trilogy is a good thing. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And I'll catch you over on this video. Remember, the Force will be with you always.